I have these friends, Dan and Sheila. They're podcast hosts.
Welcome to Profiling Criminal Minds. I'm Dan.
And I'm Dr. Redmond.
And we are back for the last episode of Those Who Kill. And I'm not going to be coy about it. It's a heartbreaker when, and what's the best way to describe it? You see a sprinter stumble at the finish line.
Yeah, okay, great.
No, it's not just you. I know you were worried that I wasn't going to feel the same way. They screwed this up.
Yeah, they really screwed up the ending.
They really, it's such a good show. And we're not going to say it's not a good show. Hey, you know who also has a terrible ending? Millennium.
Yes. So
Millennium. Famously bad ending. Famously bad. So we're not gonna say dismiss the entire show in retrospect, but yeah, this is not a good episode. It's the first episode of the show that we're going to say, I think, is not a good episode. Is that fair?
No, that's exactly it. I mean, okay, it does wrap everything up.
Yeah.
But now, the thing is that the episode kept getting worse.
Yeah.
All the tension was gone.
Yep.
You pretty much knew what was going to happen almost.
Oh, yeah.
And then it just ends. And I'm going, well, okay, yeah, now it's ended. Everything's tied up. And okay.
We got that little package that everything is tied in. But really?
Everything was too rushed. Everything, like at the beginning.
Yep.
When we get to see, we did say the guy was decompensating.
Oh, yeah.
Boy, did he decompensate.
Oh, yeah, no, they got that part right. My God. Yep.
But
it raises the question. But the thing is, it's like suddenly the storytelling's kind of lazy. How did he find that guy?
I have no idea.
I have no idea how he's supposed to have found this guy he wanted to kill. Did he leave a message with his service saying which sleazy motel he was going to be hiding from a serial killer?
Yeah, how the hell did he find him?
Yeah, how the hell did he find this guy?
No, we've got to explain to people. This is okay, because they don't know this guy. It's how did the serial killer find the drug dealer?
Yeah, how?
That's how. Because the drug dealer went into hiding right away.
Yeah. He immediately went and hid out at a sleazy motel, and I'm sure didn't tell anyone where he was going.
No, because the cops couldn't find him.
The cops didn't know where he was.
But this guy found him.
Apparently the same night that he got away from that he was going to be picking up the money and shot a cop, that same night he found out where the guy was hiding while he's still got a body in his trunk?
He's got a body in his trunk. He's got two people in his
trailer.
His trailer. He's got, and I'm just like, oh, wait a sec. Okay, this needed a couple more episodes probably for them to have tied everything up, but they only had 10 episodes, so I guess they had to, I don't know.
No, I will tell you, they didn't need what they needed, and I mean, maybe you're going to disagree with me, but I have a theory. I mean, my statement is, what you needed to do was end this with a cracker. What you needed to do was have this killer get caught almost immediately, and there's still two people locked in a trailer somewhere.
Yes, and they need to find... Look,
they need to find them.
They could have ended it with him being caught at the end of...
Last episode.
Yes,
and then this whole episode, you've got to get the professor to, again, cracker him.
Yeah.
And get in a room with him and talk with this man and try and figure out who he is and what drives him and what he, it's why he's searching out for attention. Get into the head of this killer, which is your whole thing you spend your whole life wanting to do.
Obviously, the Morgan brothers did not watch Cracker.
Yeah, they watched plenty of other stuff, but apparently they didn't watch Cracker because they didn't know how to end the season.
No, because now, and I'm going, oh, well, okay, so we've got the 4. And then I get, and then we get the tape recording of the 911 call.
Yeah.
And I'm going, okay, so that they were intending a second season, and that was going to be the next season.
No. Bruce
No,
Davidson just kills
they
himself. Spoiler alert.
No, Bruce Davidson doesn't kill
Yeah, he
himself.
does.
She kills him.
No,
She kills him.
No, he killed himself. That next season they would have explained that he killed himself.
You think so?
Well, you don't show him taking a little pistol out of the drawer as she's driving up to have him not kill himself.
Well, why would he kill himself? He doesn't know anything.
Because
he doesn't know she's coming after him. He doesn't know she's got the 911 call.
No, but he has had the kid push back on the molestation, right? And that kid was there when his wife mysteriously died, so he knows stuff is going to come out, and he knows he's going to go down. And it's only a matter of time, and when he sees her rushing up to the house, he has this instinct that he knows she knows, and so he kills himself. Because, I mean, the kid obviously...
Well, no. It was not obvious to me because the show is Those Who Kill, and because...
The whole season has been leading up to this. No, I agree.
We're killing him.
Yeah, no, I agree that's logically...
And the fact that she stops him from killing the serial killer...
Yeah.
Okay, means, because it's all been between the two of them, and we have been leading up to the fact that he's watching her prepare herself to kill her stepfather.
I agree, and what I'm saying is, the show cops out so thoroughly in the last episode...
Well, yeah.
That
you're assuming he killed himself.
Okay. He has to have killed himself based on all the other mistakes they made in the last episode.
That's true. Okay. No.
You see my love? No, you're saying what you wanted to happen. You're saying what should have happened, and I agree with you. It's what I wanted. It's what should have. It ain't what happened.
Okay. No. I mean, there will never be another season, so we don't know.
No, we don't know for sure. But, I'm not going to be too much of a nerd about this, but shotguns and pistols sound very different when they're fired, is all I'll say about that.
Okay, I'll go back and listen to it.
You go back and listen to it, and that's a pistol being fired, and that's all I'll say about that today.
Yeah. And that's how it ends.
It's the last thing that happens in the thing. Gunshot in the living room.
Yeah, so we were supposed to get another 10 episodes, I guess.
Oh, clearly. I think they had this weird thing where at the end of the show, they started thinking, well, how do we get a second season? And so they have the guy, the child, somehow push back on him and reject him. And so when he goes to molest him the previous night, and that's why you get him violently attacking that same child on the hockey rink.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I mean, that's how you're supposed to read that. And and now we know there's evidence out there that someone saw him push his wife down the stairs when she confronted him about seeing
about bringing the kid home.
Yeah, bringing the kid home.
Because the kid's in her house, in the basement.
Exactly. Right? And so you put all that together and you're like, okay, what they're going to say is he realized he was caught and he killed himself. Now, you and I know that there's no show, and it's not true to the characters if Chloe Sevigny didn't shoot him. And that's why we want it to be that ending.
Yeah, that's
but
the
it's
ending.
Not.
Okay.
That's the ending they were building up to all season.
I'm accepting what you say. I don't like it.
No, I mean, I'm right. It's just pissing me off that I'm right. It's pissing you off that I'm right.
I'm sure that the Danish show ends up with Chloe killing her stepfather.
I mean, first off, if it's a Danish show, it's probably her real father. But
yeah, okay. It's probably her real father. Okay.
Yeah, it's probably actually her dad in the original, because it's the Scandinavian noir. They get real bleak real fast up there.
Yeah. But this one, and I just the whole thing. I mean. And then she takes, because of course everything is that the FBI is coming, they're taking over the serial killer.
Yeah.
So Chloe says to James Sevigny, to James Darcy, well, okay, I mean, if we catch him, and this is how we're going to catch him, we're going to put a newspaper article in, you're going to call him a copycat. Now, here's the other thing.
Please.
Is that how the hell did they not try to figure out how this like we've got her partner who ends up being fine.
Yeah,
in
well,
the
not
end.
fine.
Not
It's
fine,
going to be
but
a lot of recovery
alive.
time. Yeah,
And a lot of recovery time. That's not.
yeah.
That's
He
not.
survives.
But he survived. Okay.
Thank heavens.
But
Oof.
and of course he's not getting awake. He isn't waking up now because he's seen the guy. First of all, number one, he's seen the guy. So of course we see the guy in the hospital, and then he gets something else that makes him run away. I can't remember what right now.
No, that he gets the text message. He gets the Google alert that James Darcy called him a copycat of the guy who's in jail.
That's right. And that's why he decides he's got to go after James Darcy.
Yeah.
But what happens, right, does nobody think why why her partner wasn't more suspicious? Because the guy comes in a it's like he works at the park.
Yeah, he's put a fake park ranger decal on the side and a yellow light on the top of his car.
Yeah, and so so James Darcy just thinks the partner just thinks he's a
ranger.
His name, a ranger.
Yeah. So
he's not expecting.
Yeah, and I'm like, but they cleared all of this with exactly. So that's a good thing to look into.
So why didn't you look into that at the beginning and track him down that way if he wasn't already dead, but just track him down, get him, and then you get this whole thing.
No, but the whole idea that how is he able to? I know, a terrible disguise. Although then again, how good a disguise does it need to be when nobody knows what you look like? But the thing that bothers me, right, when I'm watching it, in fact, why did he change his? Okay, I guess the reason he puts on a disguise is because he thinks there's a chance the cop survived and has described him. Because he doesn't know the cop is in a coma, right? He doesn't know the partner's in a coma. But it's like, wait a minute, so you're watching all the entrances, and you don't have, people on the highway if a guy decides to turn around and flee?
Yeah.
This is not a very good trap. And also the killer, right? So he knew there was a trap for him at the... he knew that he found out because he saw the cop that there's a trap for him at the...
Well, no, he gets on his CB radio.
Oh, no. I'm just saying the night before when he shot the partner, right?
Yeah.
He knew there was so he found out there was a trap for him at the place he likes to dump bodies, right? And then he's like, okay, well, and then the next day we see him finding out there's a trap on the thing, except none of his reactions make sense. Because later, at the end of the scene, we learn, no, he already dumped the body because he knew there was a trap.
While he went and got the drug dealer and cut out his tongue.
Something like that. No, but the point is, we see him reloading the body, right? And going to dump it. And then why is he so nervous going through the checkpoint?
Yeah, because he doesn't have a body in his car.
Yeah, he's got no body.
It's in a bathtub.
Yeah, why? I don't understand. And the answer is, I do understand that point, but I'm saying it's like, why is this character so nervous about being pulled over when there's nothing in his view? There's nothing in his car. There's nothing
to be nervous about.
Yeah, there's nothing to be nervous about. He's acting, and again, it's just to deceive the audience, but he's acting like there's something they're going to find in his car, but there's nothing in your car, buddy. What's going on here?
Yeah. Either he's got a hidden compartment where he put the dead body and so nobody's going to see it.
Yeah.
Which seems to be impossible.
No, a car that size, there's no way he could. But yeah.
No, because it's a smaller car.
It's a tiny car.
And, so you're just looking at, none of it makes any sense.
No, it just doesn't track.
And then he goes to the hospital.
First he murders the couple by faking letting them escape and blow up in his car? When I'm watching them run away, I'm like, why are you taking this car that's been left there running? That seems like a really bad idea. And then it immediately blows up. And I'm like, okay, it was a really bad idea.
And the guy smiles. And so that's that the cops can all say, well, geez, he's changed his MO.
Yeah. Well, no, they want him to have been, I'm not really clear why he blew them up in a car.
No, I don't know.
I honestly, if he was trying to fake that he was dead and one of his but that's not going to work.
No, because
there's the couple. They're the missing couple. They're going to be identified. So What are you hoping to accomplish by blowing them up in the
He's
car?
decompensating. He's decompensating and not thinking properly.
Not thinking properly and doing really elaborate, time-consuming stuff.
In a short period of time. Did he have a bomb already in his?
No, they actually say that he made it so the fuel line was fed into something else, so the car would blow up once it hit.
Well, it still takes time to do that carefully.
Oh, absolutely it does. And apparently he's just hanging out doing that. Think of how much more satisfying this episode is if they catch him immediately, either at the end of last episode or at the beginning of this one. And then James Darcy's got to get in a room with this guy to find out where the truck is. I mean, they don't even know he has a truck. That's a much better episode.
Look, as you say, they didn't. I mean, I said it. They didn't watch Cracker. Obviously.
No, they didn't watch Cracker. Obviously, you're right. But it's the crazy part is, so this guy, to get back to the thing, he knew about the trap because he shot a cop. Then he knew about the second trap because of the CB, and he saw the second trap, so he knows they're actively trying to trap him. And then when he gets a message that James Darcy thinks he's a wimp, he's like, well, this can't possibly be a trap.
My ego is hurt again, and I'm going to go kill this guy.
What? It's so much more obviously a trap than any of the other traps he's immediately detected before.
Yeah. And this one, when he walks in the house and Chloe Sevigny is there, right?
Yeah.
Then why doesn't he just try to run away?
I know.
Because he has to know it's a trap. Because Darcy, but he doesn't know that Darcy has a shotgun, I guess.
More to the point, the minute he sees Chloe Sevigny, logic would dictate, it isn't because they're not very good at their jobs, suddenly, but logic would dictate that there are 100 other cops waiting outside. He has no way of knowing that there aren't 100 other cops waiting outside about to rush in, yet he dodges around and goes to get a knife and tries to hunt her with a knife, when logically he should assume he's about to be charged by a SWAT team. He doesn't know that this is all a game of cat and mouse between her and Darcy. He doesn't know that the case has been taken away by the FBI and this is a last-ditch attempt off the books by Chloe and Darcy, right? To catch it. He doesn't have any of that information, so why is he acting like he does? And it's because they want to get a dramatic thriller ending to the season when everything about the show suggests that they should do a dramatic psychological end to the season, where James Darcy has to figure out what to do, right? Do. And I'm going to say it, you have to tie in his psychological breakdown of the Space Cowboy into her making the final decision to kill Bruce Davison, and then you have to have her go kill Bruce Davison.
Or you have to have Darcy get there in time to stop her.
Either way, right?
Yeah, no, this is what I mean, because, she stops Darcy from shooting the serial killer.
Yeah, exactly.
But basically, that didn't even almost feel, because I'm going, Darcy is not, he might kill somebody personally, just like Chloe might kill her stepfather. This guy, it's what? An ego thing for this guy, but he hasn't done anything personally to Darcy. You'd have to really stretch
there's the Darcy.
Ego.
Oh, that's the thing that puzzled me, is is Darcy going to kill him? Why? Darcy doesn't care about this guy.
No.
He's pissed off that his wife has left him, but he doesn't blame this guy for his wife leaving him. He knows it's his fault. Yeah, it would be such a tenuous thing, but think about it. And the thing is, all of the pieces are there for the ending I'm talking about, because you have to get into the psychology of the fact that this guy can't ever stop, right? That all of the pieces are there with the fascinating idea that this guy doesn't even really seem to be into the murder anymore. It's just he's incapable of stopping. And digging into that concept is how you could convince Chloe Sevigny that Bruce Davison will never not be a threat. That's a hook in to making it so she would understand she has to kill him. because otherwise another child is going to die eventually.
Yeah.
Right? Like, they had all of the pieces, and this killer, with his unbelievably strange MO and his, disinterest in the mechanics of serial killing, actually gave them the perfect in to do an ending, to do a cracker ending where they save the people, but it drives her to go and try to kill Bruce Davison.
Yep.
It's so frustrating.
Yeah. Instead, they capture him and they put him in the trunk of the chief.
The chief's car, who's not going to be getting his deputy chief position because he's screwed up too much lately. And I'm like, okay, I actually get that.
Yeah, okay, but now he's actually caught the serial killer.
I know, so maybe he'll get his promotion. Who knows? Although that's an awkward thing to have to explain. How there's a serial killer in the trunk of your car.
But
okay,
he smiles.
He smiles.
Remember?
He's like, he'll figure it out. But it's like, here's something I shouldn't be feeling, and I'm watching the show, right?
Yeah.
And it's because this is how frustrated I was at the episode when she's driving over the bridge to go and confront to go and kill Bruce Davison. She's driving over the bridge to do it, and I'm like looking at the bridge and the shots of the bridge, and I'm like, I wish I was watching Jack Reacher. Best movie ever made, set in Pittsburgh.
I know, yeah, I know.
Just looking at that race across that bridge, and I'm like, oh, I miss Jack Reacher.
I've been there before.
There's this movie called Jack Reacher. I'm a big fan of it. Just thought you should know that.
Go watch it. Yeah.
Just go watch Brad.
He does a wonderful job.
Just a masterpiece performance. One of the best late period Tom Cruise movies. Just a masterpiece. Jack Reacher's it's something else. But anyway, it's such a frustrating episode.
It really was. Like, it was just none of the tension that I was, the whole first 9 episodes keep you at the edge of your seat.
Yeah.
There are, as I said in the last episode, I just had to close my eyes and not watch. It was bad enough. Or at times I could watch and just turned off the sound, periodically. I didn't want to listen to the techno.
Yeah.
Because I knew, and it was just, and no, I'm not going to watch him chop off the hands, the fingers.
I know.
And all of this.
It's
and
so effective.
It was driving. And even the scene where he talks to his wife and she basically says, he wants her to come home. The guy's in jail. And she says, that's not what I'm asking.
Yeah.
Are you back?
Yep.
And at the same time, there's Chloe Sevigny seeing the 911 call.
Yep.
And the recording. So she starts to listen to it, and then she listens to it again.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it was a stunning call.
Oh yeah. That part is very well done.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah, and so
giving her motivation to go and kill him.
But it's like it's never dawned on her that he killed her.
Yeah, it's like, how did
this never dawn on you?
Obviously, he pushed her down the stairs. She confronted him. Well, that's the weird part. Like, the minute she goes from calling her mother saying we have to talk to, her mother fell down the stairs, the only thing that should be in her head is, my mother confronted him and he pushed her down the stairs. Yeah. How could anything... But no, apparently she needs evidence suddenly to get her to that conclusion.
Because, and James Darcy going and talking to the mother of this little boy.
Yeah.
Right? And he's obviously done the thing of dissing his wife.
Yeah.
Obviously Chloe's mother has given kind of all sorts of weird excuses that kind of don't fit for why he should not, right? Have these children around, right? He's too busy, and he has such a busy schedule with all these things. He shouldn't be taking up one more thing.
Yep. Yeah, because she's trying to, without having to admit to herself that what she knows, she's trying to reel it back.
Yes.
Without having to actually do the hard work of confronting him or her own complicity.
Yeah, and
again, Camille Cosby disorder.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, like this
Mrs.
is a
Cosby disorder.
Well, I mean, if you want to call it that, sure.
Sure.
We call it Martha Mitchell syndrome. I think it's fine to call it Camille Cosby disorder.
Oh, Camille Cosby.
Camille Cosby, yes, that's her name.
Yeah, no. Never mind.
It's okay.
Yes, that syndrome. No,
Yeah.
no. My husband is perfect.
Exactly. Right.
Okay, yeah, uh-huh.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter how many women come up and say he did this. No, he didn't.
No,
It's a cabal.
because your life, depends on you not understanding a thing.
Yes.
That's the thing. Like every part of your life is about keeping this lie going, because otherwise your entire life collapses. And that's just, it's a horrific thing to watch. And they were doing such a good job of it with Kathy Baker that you believe.
Yeah, it was wonderful. And we just, and the fact that he pushed it by bringing this kid to their house.
Yep.
Is what finally was the last straw for her.
Yeah. Like that all really works. Her daughter's pushing her. He's pushing her. Like she can't turn a blind eye anymore. Like that's all really good stuff.
He killed her son.
Yep. On some level, she knows.
Yep.
On some level, she understands what happened. That he was going to tell, or that he was going to tell. That he pushed back. That he got strong enough to fight back and was going to tell. And so he killed him in a panic and got rid of the body and said he ran away. Because the kid had all sorts of behavioral problems because he'd been molested for years. Yep. So the behavioral problems, that's completely normal, 100%.
Yep.
Like the show did such a good job. And
up to this
last episode. Well, and the crazy part is, this whole time they've understood that the psychology of the killer is just as important to Darcy in all of this as what's going on with these characters, because it's about building a connection between them, right?
Yeah, you have to he builds up these extensive profiles.
Yes, and there's none of that in this.
No.
That should have been the whole lot, the stuff with the mother. It's all about who this woman is. The stuff with the coffin guy. It's all about who this man is. The stuff with the family annihilator. It's all about who this man is. The stuff with Space Cowboy. Who cares? I don't know.
We have no idea what sent him down this road.
Not only what sent him down his road, they're not able to use the psychology against him or to figure anything out, which is the whole friggin' point of James Darcy's character. Oh, well, they used the psychology because they knew he would walk right into a trap if you called him a wimp. Really? He would walk right, everything we know about this guy, you'd think he would walk right into a trap because you called him a wimp? I don't know that that's the case. I really don't think that's the case.
What he wrote was, I sleep just fine.
Fine. Yes, exactly. He's specifically fronting that he isn't bothered by this stuff.
No.
That they're like, no, he's so emotionally fragile that obviously he's going... No, he should have been in jail this whole episode, and it should have been about trying to find where this couple are before they die of thirst.
Yeah.
That's what these episodes should have been about. And it should have been about getting into this guy's head. This last episode should have been about. And it should have been about getting into this guy's head.
They should have somehow or another caught him at the end
of the last episode, or again, the very start of this episode.
And here's the thing, because when he runs away in the park, there are all sorts of cops at all of the entrances of this park. And they see a car racing away. Yep. They're not
speeding away after there've been a bunch of gunshots.
And they're not going to go after
a guy called in, and she called in officer down. They're not going to notice this car racing away. I mean, she doesn't have a description of the car, but still, it's a car racing away.
No, so we can get a.
Where's the helicopter?
We can get a fake. We can get a fake. A fake Chloe not gonna tell, and then tells her boss, and her boss is gonna. I don't need any of that.
No.
There was so much time that should have been devoted to, as you would call it, crackering the end.
That's what this entire finale should have been about.
Yes, and then, because I honestly thought that the 911 thing, might have been left better than, well, yes, never mind. I mean, in my head, I was thinking, okay, so that's going to go into next season, is catching this guy.
Yeah.
It'll go into the next season. But instead, no, he's dead at the end of this season.
Yep. No, I mean there was a couple of ways they could have gone with it, you know.
Yeah, but it was very, very, very disappointing. It lost all of the edge it had for 9 episodes.
Fantastic. 9
right to the
fantastic episodes.
Yes. Right to the end of the last episode.
Yep.
Episode 9, and then they just botched it.
Yeah, they did.
You should have had Andrew Wilder write the last episode. I think Chris Levinson did it.
Like, I don't know what they were thinking.
Or the Wong should have done it. Somebody else should have figured this one out.
But the problem is, it's even conceptually bad. Like, the ideas here are bad. It's not like it's
but
just...
how did it happen?
Yeah, I know.
Don't know.
That's the part I don't understand. Like,
yeah.
How did they not see what ending they needed?
Yeah.
No, you need to do an episode where they're just chasing the guy around and he's getting away with everything and blah, blah, blah. That's what the last 2 episodes are about. Yeah. You don't need a 3rd episode in a row about this guy running around doing whatever he wants and he's hard to catch. We've already watched that for 3 episodes. Now let's get into the psychology that this show is supposed to be about.
Yeah, because, I mean, and you had all of the pieces are there.
Yeah, every bit of it.
Including Darcy sitting there, and we still don't know what, like Darcy sitting there going, well, the whole business with the clocks.
Yeah.
And the whole business of watching Chloe and figuring out whether or not she's going to go and kill her stepfather, and should he step in because
should he intervene?
And then we get the scene with her ex-boyfriend who's the head of narcotics.
Yeah. Who, I mean, I'm sure that would have been interesting next year, who confronts her with the fact that he knows what she did.
Yes.
Right? Right, that he still cares about her, he still loves her, but it's like he knows that she's screwing everything up by stealing the right? By stealing and then returning the surveillance equipment, the cloning equipment. I'm like, I mean, the thing is, it's a nice scene between the two of them, but at the same time, like, I don't think you had to notice her sneaking it back in to use the cloning, to drop off the cloning thing. It's like, she still had the cloning thing. You didn't get it back from her after she went to talk to the drug dealer.
Yeah,
like,
that's
you
on you.
That's on you, buddy.
Well, and not only that, and he makes some line about if it ever gets out, this is going to destroy all of the other evidence that we've collected using that cloning machine. And
I don't know that it would.
How?
But more importantly, like, it's like he knew she had it, so why didn't she just come into the office and say, damn it, I forgot to give you your cloner back? Like, why does she do this sneaky nonsense?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's that part we didn't mention last week, that it's like, it didn't really make sense how sneaky she was being, because it's not like he didn't know she still had the cloner. He's the one who gave it to her, and he didn't get it back from her. So, logically, she still has it. And it's like, I don't know why she thought she had to sneak it back in. And it's to set up this scene of him covering for her, because that's what people do. Everybody covers for her. Literally, everybody covers for her. It is a show about everybody covering for this woman.
Yeah.
As she makes mistake after mistake after mistake.
Kills her stepfather. I'm sorry.
No, I agree with you. I'm just saying, given how much they botched the final episode, I just think that they're going to say he shot himself.
And maybe that's what you see. Maybe that's what they did in we'll have to watch the Swedish one now, too. Yeah,
exactly.
Because it goes for 4 seasons. So they're probably trying to emulate maybe what the Swedish one did after the first 10 episodes to get 3 more seasons. Because again,
the Swedish one happened after this one.
Yes, I know. Oh, that's right. The Swedish one happened after this one. Yeah. So
there's
I don't know what
there's the Danish. Well, I know. Then we're going to find out. There's the Danish one. This one happened right after, and the Swedish one happened a few years after this one.
Yes,
so,
and is still ongoing.
And it's still on apparently. So maybe they learned their lesson from the mistakes this one made. Who knows? We're going to find out. Because as badly as they botched the end of the season, and they did botch it badly.
Yes.
As badly as they botched the end of the season, it's still a great show up until that point.
I know.
Like, that whole speech that James Darcy gives about how his whole life is violence.
Yes.
In the previous episode. That was fantastic. it's still a show that could really bring it like few other shows on television.
Until the last episode.
Until the last episode.
And then you're just going, so say what?
Like, we've had, like, you have to move into a different kind of thriller at some point, or you're just doing the same thing every week. And that's the problem. Like, we didn't need another week of chasing this guy. Like, and the best part is you've organically gotten to yourself where you have to do the ticking bomb. Someone's locked in a cell somewhere, and you have to deal with this guy who is obsessed with control. Like, you've gotten into a situation where you can completely naturally do this storyline that people love to do with serial killers. And then they don't do it.
I know it.
And then they do something worse that makes less sense, where everyone starts acting like an idiot, where the cops are incompetent, and the killer's pretty bad at his job too, but also magically good at his job when the plot requires him to be. You know, he stops being a character and he starts being a plot contrivance. It's so frustrating.
Yeah.
Oh,
He should have been caught at the end of episode
the last
9.
episode. Yeah, exactly. Like, he shoots the partner, and then like, she rushes up and catches him, or another cop rushes up and catches him, and she's holding on to the partner, trying to get him to the hospital. And then, like, you've got the fact that you've got her racked with guilt over failing to save this kid, has gotten her partner almost killed. So she's unbelievably angry at this guy, and Darcy's life has been threatened by this guy, and his obsession with catching, like, his focus on catching him has screwed up his relationship with his wife. Like, there's so much you can do here. Like, if the guy's in custody, and we're not wasting the whole episode on a generic chase the serial killer story.
Yeah. Which
You know?
we didn't need.
Which we didn't need. We'd already had 9 episodes of chasing serial killers. It's time to, for the lack of a better term, get your cracker on.
Yeah.
You know? Change things up for the last episode and remind people the great writing you can do on the psychological side of this.
Remember episode 5.
Oh, remember episode 5. Well, let Darren Morgan, like you said, write the finale.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they wanted an action-packed finale, even though that's the last thing they needed. All right, so final thoughts. Has it killed all our esteem for the show? I don't know that it has killed all of my esteem for the show. I still think this show did a really good job.
Oh, I think it did. It hasn't. I am not going to backtrack on all of the wonderful things I've said up to this point about how this show has been structured and how it is very, very stressful,
unbelievably
intense,
stressful. Yeah.
And innovative in some ways in terms of how it is dealing with these characters. You're opening them up. It was a slow process finding out some of the different stories.
Yeah.
We needed a little bit more. I would think, if I was to say anything, I wanted a little bit more in that, because they completely ignore the revelations. Like, after Darcy and Chloe are in the car where he says, and your mother knows.
Yeah.
I would have liked some follow up on that, because there's no real follow up on that at all.
Why he's sure she knows.
Yes. And, you know, he doesn't tell Chloe about the pig.
No.
For example. Why doesn't, I want that conversation. That's, if there was one thing that I find missing in the first 9 episodes, because we'll just talk about the good stuff.
Yeah.
That's about the only thing that's, to me,
we deserved an episode about the psychology of the women who turn the other way for their monster husbands. Like, and how the pig was sitting there in the closet all this time.
Not on the closet, on a shelf.
Yeah, on a shelf in his office, yeah.
In a china cabinet, basically.
In a china cabinet. Well, no, it is a china cabinet.
Yeah. It's called a display cabinet, right?
Exactly.
When you don't put
when you
china
get the glass walls.
Yeah.
Right?
And you're just
why doesn't he explain that to her? Like, how he knows?
There's something about why don't we see this? Because this parallels, you should have seen him. It's a parallel to his situation with his brother and his brother's wife.
Yep.
That's where that follow-up should have happened.
Yeah.
That I never understood why she stayed with him. And just like Chloe can't possibly understand or believe that her mother knows
and stayed with him.
Because how could she know and still stay with him?
Yeah, and what you needed, you're right, is a scene of her refusing to believe what he says. And then him giving her this harsh lecture about the psychology of these abused women. Of the women who stay. And then only after she's heard that does she get drunk and call her mother and say, we need to talk about this.
Yeah.
And that's what triggers everything at the ending.
Yes.
Like, that's what you needed. You're completely right.
Yeah. There was just one thing for me.
That is a scene we are missing. Well, it's probably two scenes. It's her refusing and getting mad at him. It's him coming back and talking to her and laying it all out, and then it's her getting drunk and realizing James Darcy was right and the symptoms were there the whole time.
Yeah.
Right.
And that, but if you don't study it, you don't see it.
No, you're absolutely right.
It's so hard to explain to people why women stay. Now, sometimes you could say why men stay, but
sometimes, but
fewer.
We're talking about the majority here.
The majority,
not edge cases.
No. And why these women stay. Why? And we see it again and again throughout this whole thing. People just blanking things off their mind, right?
Yep. Oh, yeah. Right? People seeing what they want to see, ignoring what they need to ignore to allow them to keep functioning. Like this.
It'll be interesting to see how this is going to be, if it is ever going to be handled in Criminal Minds.
Yeah. That's the thing. Because I stand by what we were saying the other day, which is this could be an interesting template for where they can go in future seasons of Criminal Minds to actually dig into this concept. Like both the idea that they covered with the Space Cowboy of a guy who's, who doesn't get the thrill anymore, but still has the addiction.
Yeah, but also the Sydney thing.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like, there's two different things they can touch on here that would both be very interesting. Yeah. Where he doesn't get the thrill of being a serial killer anymore, but he can't stop, so it's just what he does, right? Yeah. And then you have all the stuff with his wife, where how did she look the other way?
Yes, and then you were going to have to get into the two children and the conflicts because the one child knows.
Yeah.
In other words, Holly is well aware and then tries to kill her father.
and Harlow's like, just what are you doing?
Yeah. No, this can't be true. This can't be, you can already see because the mother has been lying to them.
Of course.
Like first has
been trying to protect them.
Lying herself. She thinks that by protecting them, she's doing them a favor, and we are slowly seeing that she's not.
Yeah.
With Holly.
Yeah.
And Luke's the one that gets to say that.
Yeah. Oh, but anyway, as you said, we're not going to keep talking about, Criminal Minds from 2 months ago on this episode. No. But this does provide an interesting template for super fascinating direction to take some of the character stuff in Criminal Minds next time.
Yeah.
So, I'm very interested to see what happens from here going forward on Criminal Minds. But this show, I'm still going to say it's a tragedy we didn't get another season. I would have liked to see if they could have come back from this and where it could have gone. Right?
Yeah, well, I think I'm looking at it. Of course it would have been nice, but it was so tense because you got here. The one thing you've got resolved to some extent is the Chloe and her stepfather thing.
Yeah.
The Darcy and his wife and son and new baby, because she's not going to accept anything but that he stops.
Yeah. And he's not going to be able to stop.
Yeah. And
again, his brother's getting out of jail.
yeah, so it's I mean, there were places they could go and things they could do with it. Although I am so disappointed in this episode.
No, it's unbelievably disappointing.
That I am not holding.
You don't have a lot of faith that they could have gotten better next year.
That it could have it could have been saved.
Or that it could have lived up to its potential. Well, no, what I mean, the thing is, like I said, I am certain that the intent in that final scene is that next season they were going to say Bruce Davison killed himself.
Yeah.
And I know I'm right. But, man, if they had had the guts to have her kill him and have him, James Darcy, help her fake it to look like a suicide.
Yeah.
Right? And say that, like, lie and say that she told him about the, right? That she told him about the 911 call, and that that the kid knew that he killed his wife, right?
And then, of course, because the kid's not there right now, they're going to go and interview the kid. Darcy will interview the kid.
Exactly.
Now.
And imagine, like, what do you call it? Imagine the bleak place it would go if Darcy is like mentally, essentially trying to get the kid to back up the idea that he was going to confess that he had actually seen something he hadn't seen, that he had seen, like, in the same way that he had seen this murder, in the same way that normally you get kids to try and not admit that they saw something horrible.
Yeah.
In the way she did her whole life. If you had a scene where Darcy tries to convince the kid that he saw a murder, because if he can convince the kid that he saw a murder, then everyone will believe that he was going to turn on Bruce Davison. Imagine that scene.
Yes, well,
we're just writing. Yeah, but it would be the most incredible thing you'd ever watch, and we'd be complimenting it to high heaven.
Well, the other thing is that we do not know the background that created James Darcy and his brother.
No, and they would have gone that into second season.
They could have done that in the second season. This season was focused on her. The next season
would have been focused because his brother would have been... Whenever his brother, whether it's season 2 or 3, when his brother got out of jail, that would have been when it would have become about James Darcy's childhood.
Yeah.
Like, I think that's just a fact. Like, that's obviously what they had planned. And this season was always going to end with Bruce Davison dying. But oh my God, it should have ended with Bruce Davison with being killed by Chloe.
Yeah.
And then James Darcy, and the question being, at the end of the season, whether James Darcy helps her cover it up or not.
Yeah.
That's your ending, people.
Yeah. So there, if only you had asked us.
If only you had asked us all of those years ago when you were making your television show. Oh my God, it was so close. It was so close. It was so close to being up there with Cracker, as just these all-time shows. But it really botched the ending.
Yep.
I mean, and that's the thing.
Because James Darcy is not... See, Cracker, in his own bizarre way, is a lovable character.
Yeah, and James Darcy is not.
Yeah.
Yeah, in the same way that, our beloved Tony Hill is a beloved character.
Yes. And it's funny, because neither one of these two characters
is likable in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah. No. Her partner is likable.
Yeah.
Actually, even, the Tony Soprano almost.
Yeah. Jackie Aprile.
Jackie.
Is right. Is a lovable character. Yeah. He really is.
But but these two leads, so you needed to give them an ending.
And the boss is a likable character too. Actually, all the non-main characters are pretty endearing. Actually, now that I think about it.
Yes, and they're basically, because it is basically it's a five-man cast.
Basically,
with all these extras, right?
With all these extras going around. But and like everybody but the main ones are pretty likable.
Yep.
Yeah, you got Kathy Baker, you got Bruce Davison, right? You've got her friend, the M.E. Like, there's all these side characters who are just kind of there, being likable and memorable. But, like, the people we're spending almost every scene with, like, literally, They're in almost every scene of the show. Those characters are just horrifically troubled people that it can be a slog to watch their adventures. Because they're so broken.
We're watching them destroy other people's lives as well.
Absolutely.
And the poor guy that she was stalking.
Yeah. Oh, that poor guy she was stalking.
That poor guy.
Oh, yeah.
He shouldn't have been screwing around on his wife.
No,
but, he didn't quite deserve what she was doing to him.
Well, and the thing is, right, and there's something I would have loved the show to address.
Yeah.
Which is the personality type that Chloe Sevigny characters is that makes everyone cover for her.
Yeah.
Like this woman who so exudes tragedy about herself that it makes every other character want to take care of her all the time, whether or not she deserves it and whether or not it inconveniences and makes their lives worse. Because it's not like they're taking care of her because she's a uniquely great at her job, and if she wasn't doing the job, no one would ever get caught. She's not. She's not uniquely good at her job. She's not a particularly good detective. She's not notably better than any of the other detectives.
Yep.
Right? Her main genius move was being the only one of them who was willing to consult with James Darcy.
Yes.
The rest of them didn't want to consult with James Darcy because of that thing that had gone wrong. She was the only one willing to call him in, but that's the last thing she did that was, significant and unique. The rest of the time, she's just doing cop stuff.
Yeah, and I mean, it's Darcy. I mean, and there is nothing like that episode with the woman who killed her son.
Oh, my God.
That was a heartbreaking episode.
3 episodes.
When I look back.
Yeah.
All of this, right? You're watching these characters falling apart, for sure. These two main characters, as they get into this world.
Yep.
And supposedly she tends to see murder where other people don't see it or don't want to see it, whether you want to call them, lazy cops, or whether you want, whatever you want to do, they just don't see it. But she manages to find whatever little piece is that's going to turn this into what it really is.
Yeah.
So there's that. But yes, they do cover for her. It's really hard. That is never really addressed as to why they do that constantly, particularly her boss.
Well, but I think it is literally that there are people who, for whatever reason, they give off this vibe that they need to be protected.
Yeah.
And there are people like that, and that's fundamentally what she is. She is this kind of person who has endured so much tragedy that it's like she sweats off tragedy as a pheromone. This character.
Instead of pheromones.
Yes, the pheromone she gives off is tragedy. Yeah. And it makes people need to protect her and to look out for her and to cover for her. And everybody else spends the whole show covering for her.
Yeah. Right to the friggin' end.
Right to the end. And the fact is, that would have made it all the more powerful if the last thing that had happened would be James Darcy covering up her murder of her stepfather.
Because he's already covered up one murder.
Exactly. That would have, oh my God. I know now we're just talking about the show that only exists in our head, but
yes.
There's a reason we're thinking that this is the show that they should have made. It's because we're right. This is the show. This is the way it should have ended. It should have been a whole last episode. This is what
it was leading up to.
This is what it was leading up to if they were honest with themselves. It should have been a whole last episode of him crackering the space cowboy.
Yeah.
It should have then been rescuing those two people, and in the moment of relief of having rescued those two people, that's when the 911 call comes through. Yeah. And she listens to it, and she thinks about all the stuff that has come out about the serial killer being unable to stop killing. No matter what, he's always going to have to do it, whether he enjoys it or not. It's just who he is. And she's good. And then she realizes, oh my God, that's exactly what's going on with Bruce Davidson. If I don't intervene now, right?
He's just going to keep doing it. And he's going to kill another boy. And
right. And that boy who witnessed my mother getting killed, he is going to wind up dead. I have to intervene now. And then she kills him, and James Darcy shows up as she's standing over the body with a gun.
Yeah.
and he has to decide what he's going to do. And
Again.
him deciding what he's going to do, that's our cliffhanger for season 2.
Yes.
That's the last episode you should have made, Morgan Brothers.
Yes.
What I just said, the stuff we just laid out.
We would have complained because there never was a second season like The Inside.
That's true. I mean, you're not wrong, but at least we would have gone out respecting the hell out of it the way we go out respecting the hell out of The Inside.
Yeah, that's exactly it. And we've just there's something lost by having this really
this cop out ending.
Yeah.
Where the whole thing is just chasing this guy, and the guy's just a monster who has the supernatural ability to get away with stuff until he's an idiot and walks into the most obvious trap in the history of the world.
Yeah. Well, what I would say is, so we have episodes 1 to 9, A+, episode 10...
C-. Okay, D+.
I was going to give it a D-, but okay.
No, you're right, D-. I was being too nice. It's a D-.
Not a failure, but...
It's not, no, you passed the course. Yeah, it's on the edge of just a flat-out failure. You passed the course, but, through a little bit of kindness on our part.
Yes, you passed the course because of the first 9 episodes.
Exactly. You had built up enough goodwill that we're not going to give you an F for your season finale. Oh, why? Why is it so frustrating?
Yeah, I know.
Oh my God, why did they do this to us?
Yeah.
All right, they did. All right, Morgan Brothers, we still love you. If you come back to TV, we'll be very happy. Darren Morgan would go on to do the best 2 episodes of the X-Files remake. Like when the X-Files came back, he proved he still got the juice, as the kids say, because his 2 episodes are masterpieces. And once we're done with this, honestly, maybe I'll just make you watch them next week.
Yeah.
And we can just talk about something that is the Morgan Brothers, but is like unquestionably brilliant.
Okay.
Like unquestionably brilliant, hilarious, and does a fantastic job of just like getting what the X-Files is. So join us back here in 2 weeks, because by then we'll have tracked down the Danish TV show, Those Who Kill, so we can compare the original to this. And we're not going to do it episode by episode, I don't think. We're probably just going to watch the whole show and talk about the differences. Unless we get like 3 episodes in and we're like, oh my God, we have to talk about this.
Yeah.
But, so we're definitely starting it in 2 weeks. But next week, join us here for the X-Files Season 16 episode, The Werebeast, and a Season 17 episode, The Lost Art of Forehead Sweat, which are the 2 episodes that Darren Morgan made, including directing.
Yeah.
Because that's the thing with his X-Files episodes. He didn't get to direct his X-Files episodes, but he got to direct, I'm pretty sure he directed...
both of them.
But the Millennium episodes, right? Trying to remember, did he direct Doomsday Defense? Because I'm sure he directed Somehow Satan Got Behind Me. But did he direct Doomsday Defense?
Okay.
This is something she's going to look up while I'm doing the sign-off, so I really appreciate that. All right. So seriously, thank you so much for listening. I'm sorry that if you were watching Those Who Kill along with us, that the ending turned out to be such a disappointment. Obviously, we were, shattered by it, and we have been encouraging people to watch the show, and we've been talking about how great it is. So, yeah, it kind of makes us look like jerks that it didn't stick the landing. Like, I'm not going to pretend it makes us look good that this show so badly botched the landing. It really did. But you know what? I don't regret watching the show. I'm really glad I watched the show.
Oh,
it
no.
really was fantastic for most of the show.
And Darren Morgan did direct Doomsday Defense.
Okay, so
Jose
good.
Chung's
Doomsday Defense. Oh, what a masterpiece that was.
Yeah.
But yeah, and I mean, when they started letting him, obviously his writing is peerless. When they started letting him direct episodes too, it becomes the best the X-Files has ever been. And you'll see what I'm talking about when you watch The Werebeast and The Lost Art of Forehead Sweat. So if you have any questions, if you have any comments, if there's any profiling-related fiction you'd like us to check out, drop us a line at profilingcriminalminds@gmail.com. We would love to hear from you. If you are listening on an app or podcatcher, please rate, review, and subscribe to the show. That's how people find out about it. We're going to see you back here next week for those 2 episodes of the X-Files revival, available now on Disney+. So unlike this whole Those Who Kill thing, it's not a chore to find and watch.
Yeah.
One good thing about media consolidation, I guess, every now and then it's easy to find something to watch. But yes, join us back here for that. But until then, I'll say that's right. Au revoir.
Have a good week.